So if you're out there struggling with an addiction to anything really, from sugar to your phone, and you've been trying to just fight it with willpower, I need you to hear me on this. You are not broken. What we're gonna do here is completely reframe that struggle and give you a powerful tool you can use like in the next 60 seconds to get back in control. Okay, let's jump right in. This right here, this is the absolute core of everything we're about to talk about. Look, trying to just white-knuckle your way through a craving usually just makes it like 10 times stronger. You aren't weak and you're not failing. What's happening inside you is all about biology. At its very heart, addiction is basically a case of mistaken identity. Your brain has accidentally tagged some substance or some behavior as being absolutely critical for you to live, just as important as food or water. So you see, the battle you're in, it's not against some bad habit. It's against this deep, primal survival drive. So if it's not about willpower, then what is it about? Well, to really get that, we need to look at how the brain actually defines addiction. Because this isn't a moral failure, it's a biological process. And this is it. This is the exact moment it happens. It's when a simple want gets totally hijacked and rewired into a desperate, all-consuming need. This isn't really a choice you're making, it's more like a glitch in our most basic survival wiring. So how does that happen? Let's use a really simple analogy. Let's just pull back the curtain on what's going on with your brain chemistry. And don't worry, we're not gonna get bogged down in complex neuroscience. Just picture a car. It's got a gas pedal and it's got brakes, right? Well, that's pretty much what's happening inside your head. Just think of it this way. Glutamate is your brain's gas pedal. When you feel that intense, urgent craving, that restlessness, that agitation in your body, that's a glutamate spike slamming that gas pedal to the floor. And then on the other side, you've got GABA. That's your brain's brakes. It's the calming chemical that says, hey, we're okay, just slow down. In an addiction, it's like that gas pedal is just stuck to the floor, and the brakes, they're totally shot. So if glutamate is the gas, what does dopamine do? Well, dopamine is kind of like the GPS. It's the chemical that puts that little survival tag on things. When you eat that donut or get a notification on your phone, dopamine chimes in and says, hey, that was good. Good for survival. Let's remember that. It's what tells glutamate which direction to floor it. Okay, so that's the why. We get it. Now let's talk about the how. How do we fix this? This is a super practical, in-the-moment technique to help you get your hands back on the steering wheel when that craving hits hard. See, this isn't about standing on the beach trying to fight a tsunami of compulsion. No way. It's about learning how to surf that wave so it passes right through you and disappears way faster. The whole goal is to separate yourself from the impulse, to just observe it without letting it swallow you whole. All right, let's break this down step by step. The second that urge hits, the first thing you do is rate its intensity, 0 to 10. Be honest, maybe it's a 7, maybe it's a full-on 9. Next, you locate it. Where is that feeling physically in your body? Literally point to it. Is it a tightness in your chest, a buzzing in your hands? Then you describe that physical sensation. Give it a name. Is it pulling? Is it heat? Is it tingling? Finally, go back and rate it again. I promise you, almost every time you will find that number has dropped. You see what you're doing? You're taking this huge, vague, overwhelming feeling and you're making it small and specific. You're putting it over there and suddenly it's not you anymore. And that's where it loses all its power. Okay, so that's your emergency brake, your in-the-moment tool. But for real long-term success, we've got to do some maintenance work under the hood, right? We need to support our brain chemistry and get control of our triggers. Let's look at how to do that. Remember that gas pedal glutamate? Well, there's a natural supplement called NAC, which stands for N-Acetyl Cysteine. What it does is it basically helps stop that pedal from getting slammed all the way to the floor. It just smooths out those really intense spikes of compulsion, giving you a lot more breathing room. Now, for more significant addictions, clinical experience has shown that dosages up to 2,400 milligrams a day can be a real game changer in just taking the edge off that raw feeling of urgency. So while NAC helps you ease up on the gas, we also need to fix the brakes. And magnesium glycinate is fantastic for this. It actually helps increase GABA, that calming chemical, which basically strengthens your brain's braking system so you can counteract all that fight or flight agitation. But listen, none of this other stuff works if the foundation isn't there. A low-carb diet that keeps your blood sugar stable is absolutely critical, because a brain that's riding a sugar roller coaster all day, it's just way more susceptible to every little impulse. And for smokers specifically, nicotine just burns through key nutrients like vitamin B1 and potassium, so filling those back up can make a huge difference in dealing with withdrawals. Okay, this next one sounds so obvious, but I'm telling you, it is absolutely non-negotiable. You just can't win this fight if you're walking into a booby-trapped environment every single day. You have to add barriers. Get the junk food out of the house, put the filters on your phone, maybe even change who you hang out with. You have to make the wrong choice harder to make.
And finally, let's talk about maybe the most powerful and honestly the most overlooked tool we have in overcoming addiction: the simple biology of safety and human connection.
Think about it. When a craving hits, your brain is firing off all these alarms, basically screaming, danger, danger. Oxytocin is the antidote to that. It's the hormone of bonding and connection, and it literally sends a message to your brain that says, you are safe, you are connected, you don't need that thing to survive. And the best part, you can actively make more of it. Hugging someone, playing with a pet, even just helping somebody else out. These are all powerful ways to get an oxytocin boost. It's so important to remember this. Connection is literally a biological weapon against the isolation that so often feeds addiction. So look, here's the bottom line. Addiction feels like this massive, crushing wave, but it's a biological wave. And that means it's a wave you can absolutely learn to ride. You have the 60-second technique for the moment and all these other strategies for the long term. You're not broken, you're not weak, you're just learning a new skill. The only question is, when that next wave comes, are you going to be ready to use it?